Hello, my name is Paul Kolazinski. Uh, I'm going to take you through a little bit of a walkthrough of one of my favorite paintings. This one right here is called Circle Takes Square. This is a painting from my Push and Pull series. I've made these paintings for almost 22 years now. I think the first one I made was 1997. So, yeah, this is one of my favorite ones I've made. This is a really great example of how they can really be special. My paintings are not flat. This is traditional painting making techniques and skills and strategies with a little bit of a different construction so that they're not that traditional look. I'm using the video right now to show you instead of just photographs because it's so hard to show how these are unique with just pictures, with just photographs. I'm trying not to get that window in there. I'm sorry. You gotta apologize. I don't have a great place to take pictures of my art in my house. That needs to change pretty soon. Anyway, this is 32 inches square and 5.5 inches deep. At the peak, right there, that's 5.5 inches. This painting is oil paint. It's just a regular canvas, over wood, just like a regular painting. And if you can see right now, all those circles, they're suspiciously round. All those concentric circles. I'm gonna try to move the camera so that it's actually perfect, because there is a point where they are perfectly round concentric circles. That might be it right there. It's a little hard to see in the viewfinder. I'm just using my phone. But all the circles are perfectly circle, and they're all equidistant from each other. These are concentric circles. And watch what happens when I move. So this will be your eyes, your perspective when you're moving in the round. This is straight on perspective of it. And you can see how the circles are distorted in a really interesting, beautiful way. There's some interesting stuff happening here. The circles, the rings themselves are, thick and thin. Like for example right here. This one is extremely thick relative to that one. Up here at the top, you can see some really interesting, crazy lines at the top. You see that? The line is straight from this perspective relative to the top of the canvas. But when you look at it from that one perspective, it's curved. And that has to do with the shape of the canvas. You can see from this perspective, right here, this line right here, those lines actually come forward. They actually dip in and do really interesting things. And over here, like this dark blue quarter, you can see how extreme that little quarter is. And it shows you the distortion of the lines, the circles, and the cool shape that it is. I'm going to try to show you some oblique angles. I wish the windows weren't in the shot. I feel a little bit like Robert Irwin right now. I'm like trying to perfect the wall. I'm getting annoyed that it's not perfect. With a speaker and a kitchen. Here we go. That's just all there is to it. So you can see the shadow on the wall from my lighting. You can see the shadow right there and down here. It shows you a little bit about how the shape is. And coming back to straight on, if this was lit better from the ceiling, for example, with track lighting with multiple lights, you'd see more shadows over here, and down here, and they would be more exaggerated if you had actually lit it correctly, which this is not. It'd be very attractive just as a piece of sculpture. This is a painting I did in 2012, and I was deciding and kind of revisiting these after a pause. And this is a painting I'm very proud of. This one's called Circle Takes Square, like a tic-tac-toe type of joke, because there's a circle and it's in a square, and it's not flat, and it's crazy. It looks like the circle is punching through the square painting. That's kind of a unique idea. So I made the painting, the shape of the canvas, I made that first. And then I had to decide what kind of painting I want to put on top of it to show off the great shape. So using geometry with the concentric circles, it does that pretty well. It shows the shape very nicely. And as you move around the room, like for example, a lot of art doesn't look great in a hallway. It's meant to be looked at from a certain distance, usually from straight on, and it doesn't look great in a hallway. My art, these push and pulls, do look fantastic in a hallway. You look at them in your periphery as you're walking by, and they move and they change and they do all these exciting things, and it's something that actually does work. They do pop out of the wall quite a bit, so that would be a reason to not put it in a tiny hallway. But I have had people put these in stair landings, because you can look at it from the top when you're going down the stairs, from the bottom as you're going up the stairs, and all the different angles in between. So the painting is definitely dynamic as you're watching it. There's highlights in the paint, in the brush strokes. There's shadows in the actual painting, and there's shadows on the wall. And this particular one, there's an X going through this painting. And I didn't really design that in at the beginning when I did the circles. I had the idea of doing the circles first, and that X was just a solution to break up the circles, and ended up being super gorgeous. I totally love that X, the cross going through, connecting the corners. And if you notice, the very center circle does contain the middle of the cross, the X. And it worked out. That was a nice kind of happy moment. This is oil paint with a matte sheen, not glossy. So the gloss tends to give a highlight, and that could be distracting, and I could use that in my favor. I've experimented on different paintings with different sheens and whatnot, and I like this one being flat. This one's important to be flat because you get to look at the line and the color and the shadows. So there it is. This one is Circle Takes Square. I am showing at a gallery here in Austin. The name of the gallery is AO5 Gallery on South Lamar. So give them a call. This one has been in my collection. I made it in 2012. It's mine. I love it. I'm surprised it hasn't sold yet. This one's available. I have a bunch of these paintings, and I'm making more. And anybody who buys this, any one of my push and pull paintings is automatically declared genius by yours truly. So there you go. Thank you.